Reverend Insanity Blood Venerable Ascension by Creed Follower. Chapter 61-70. In a dimly lit room, a handsome young man is seen sitting on a cushion, deeply meditating. However, to any GU master who witnessed this scene, the young man would be the least of their concerns, as the room itself can only be described in one way: extravagantly luxurious. The reason for this description is simple and would be obvious to any GU master. The entire room, from the stone and wood used in its construction to the cushion the young man is sitting on, exudes a strong aura of rank 5 GU materials. But the young man in the room doesn't care about any of this. He has a satisfied smile on his face as a large amount of black chi with a deathly aura gradually gathers around him, strengthening his soul bit by bit. Primordial origin is truly one of the greatest geniuses of all time. The chi path has limitless depths, Chen Wei says with a certain depth in his eyes, as all the black chi with the deathly aura that surrounded him has now disappeared after greatly strengthening his soul. For a long time, he wondered how GU masters refined their souls before Spectral Soul created the soul path, as he had neither seen nor heard of a conventional GU for the soul path when he was in the Heian clan. But now he knows the answer, which is incredibly obvious when he thinks about it, since the venerable creator of the enslavement path, which demands the most from the soul, must have created a method to solve the problem of soul weakness. Moreover, according to Kuang Luo Tu, even without the methods of the chi path to increase the strength of spirit chi, also known as the soul, there are methods of the refinement path that are even older and more efficient but require high proficiency in refinement. And although he is far above average in terms of refinement, according to Kuang Luo Tu, he is still not at the level that would make the refinement path method for strengthening the soul more efficient than the chi path. Kekakekaki, of course he is, as he was the first venerable. Some even say that the chi path is broader than the rule path created by Limitless. Kuang Luo Tu's will, which was observing Chen Wei's soul cultivation session, says with great admiration in his voice when thinking about primordial origin. Indeed, that opinion is not entirely wrong. The concepts of blood chi and spirit chi will be of great help in my cultivation, Chen Wei says, using the rank 5 chi inspection GU to sense a large aura of chi originating from what they call spirit chi, but which he rationalizes as the soul of a GU master. Well, your spirit chi is now 1,000 times the amount a normal person has. And since you don't cultivate the chi path and only have rank 3 cultivation, this would be your limit if it weren't for the new GU you created, Kuang Luo Tu says with true admiration when recalling Chen Wei's revolutionary creation. Right, but my genius would never have been put to use without the master's help, Chen Wei says sincerely, as only a fool would be arrogant enough to believe that Kuang Luo Tu's help wasn't fundamental to his development. This is especially true when Chen Wei remembers that it was said in the novel that a mortal GU master of the soul path, focusing entirely on soul cultivation day and night, could take up to 20 years to obtain the soul strength of 1,000 men. Yet, Chen Wei achieved this in just half a month. And although it is possible that the soul cultivation speed using the chi path is several times faster than what is described in the novel, Chen Wei believes that the true reason for his rapid progress is the high quality of all the chi he used in this half-month for soul cultivation, which were among the highest quality even among rank 5 chi, as well as the various high-quality methods he obtained from Kuang Luo Tu. Well, I still have a long way to go to see if this GU will be viable, but if it is, it will be a great achievement, Chen Wei says as he looks at a rank 3 soul path GU shaped like a black beetle, which floats happily in the sea of primeval essence filling 99% of his aperture. After saying these words, he uses the infinite primeval essence provided to him by Kuang Luo Tu to continuously activate the soul path GU, causing his spirit chi to diminish at an incredibly fast rate but simultaneously become much more condensed and of higher quality. Kekakekaki, this soul grinder GU is truly impressive. You're not only increasing the quality of your spirit chi but doing so much more efficiently than the chi path itself, Kuang Luo Tu's will, observing from the side, comments with great excitement in his voice. That little girl will revolutionize the emotional aspect of the wisdom path, and you're doing the same with this aspect of the chi path. Kekakekaki, Kuang Luo Tu's will laughs exaggeratedly as he watches what any dedicated cultivator would find emotional, witnessing the most talented person of an era laying the foundations of a new path before their eyes. The soul is not an aspect of the chi path, but only the chi path has comprehended part of the soul path's depths that I will cultivate. Chen Wei declares with great emotion, feeling his soul now reduced to 1/10 of its previous size but of twice the quality after using the soul grinder GU. Of course, despite this potentially arrogant-sounding declaration, he still holds the greatest admiration for Primordial Origin, who pioneered the creation of a path that would only be fully cultivable millions of years in the future after Fate GU was injured by Red Lotus. In fact, from both his own observations and what he heard from Kuang Luo to about the incredible methods of the Qi path to increase the soul strength of a GU master or immortal, Chen Wei feels that the only reason Primordial Origin didn't create the soul path was because of Fate Gu's interference. Sure, this Qi path method also has the flaw of being heavily dependent on Qi path methods, which are in great decline in the current world. Chen Wei murmurs as he sees a problem ahead that will prevent him from continuing this type of soul cultivation after reaching the immortal realm. This is actually the main reason why Chen Wei believes this method is not shown during the novel's era when the Qi path is going extinct, and even after it starts to resurge in the Great Era. The new methods created by Spectral Soul were more efficient and didn't conflict, as they were different paths, which is why these Qi path methods were never shown in the novel. Indeed, it's a pity but also a blessing, as it forces you to be a pioneer when exploring this soul path you aim for. Kekekekeki, Kuang Luo Tu's will says with great conviction, as if being the pioneer of a path is the greatest honor in the world. Well, I'll set these thoughts aside for now, as it's time to cultivate. I have no time to waste. Chen Wei declares with conviction, signaling Kuang Luo Tu's will, who knows him well, to release more rank 5 spirit Qi so that Chen Wei can continue his cultivation. Early morning. Sometimes I wish I could be lazier. Chen Wei murmurs as he wakes up from his 1 hour of sleep after a night of soul cultivation that left him exhausted and with dark circles under his eyes. Kekekekeki, you're really a workaholic. If it weren't for the need to sleep to calm your soul, you wouldn't even take this 1 hour. Kuang Luo Tu's will appears in front of him right after Chen Wei wakes up, as if he had been eagerly waiting for this moment. Yeah, it's quite possible. Chen Wei says, imagining how incredible it would be to take the pacifying soul soup, but for that, he would have to go to the bewitching lake inside the door of life and death. Chen Wei quickly gets out of the bed in his cultivation room and heads to the corridor, making his way to a specially designed room for safe and controlled GU testing. Hey, I wouldn't recommend passing by your room. You know, that scary little girl is really angry that you spent the whole night cultivating and left her to sleep alone. Kuang Luo Tu's will murmurs softly so only Chen Wei can hear. Without the slightest hesitation, Chen Wei turns back and takes a different route, which, although longer, avoids his and Wang Mei's bedroom door. Thanks. Chen Wei murmurs to Kuang Luo Tu's will, as in his sleepy state, he had almost walked towards one of the few things he doesn't want to face in this life, his angry wife. Well, it's not like he hasn't explained to her repeatedly how every second wasted would be a lifetime regret, but she seems to be more emotional than rational about the little time they spend together, especially when they don't sleep together. Kekekekeki, missing the single man life already. Kuang Luo Tu's will, floating above Chen Wei's shoulder, teases him like a mischievous friend. Not really. Chen Wei replies as his once blue eyes turn a scarlet red. Of course, this change isn't just aesthetic, as Chen Wei now sees all the blood within kilometers, even undercover or using mortal methods to hide. But of course he can't see even the slightest trace of Kuang Luo Tu's main body's blood. But now his focus is on 3 blood amalgamations detailed in his sight, forming the shapes of 3 girls in the same cave as him. One lying asleep in her bed, who he knows is Wang Mei, one in a part of the cave where many plants grow, who he knows is Yu Lian, and the last, Feng Hua, in a study room. Note the difference between knows and imagines, as the rank 5 GU beholder's blood eyes provides Chen Wei with detailed information about those he observes, such as blood type, sex, race, age, blood flow speed, health condition, level of kinship, cultivation level, blood quality, physical strength, etc., a significant advancement from when this GU couldn't even detect someone's blood if there was a wall between them. Well, I'd better make use of this time before I have to deal with an angry Wang Mei. Chen Wei murmurs as he reaches his destination and enters the room designed for safe testing of new GU. Kekeki, I'm really excited to see if this new GU you've invented will work. If it does, along with that blood soul baby GU, you could even kill someone several ranks above you easily. Kuang Luo Tu's will, mentioning the GU that Chen Wei never spoke about, doesn't impress him, as he firmly believes the immortal had a hand in the accidental refinement of the blood soul baby GU. With the blood path, and if I succeed in the soul path, I would truly become an unparalleled killing machine, Chen Wei says as he reaches out towards a pig on the other side of a thick glass made of GU materials, preparing to use a black scorpion-shaped GU in his aperture. Oink, oink, oink. The pig starts running frantically, trying to escape the excruciating pain from invisible hands tearing and scratching its soul relentlessly. Its attempts to flee are futile, as it dies within moments without any physical wounds, its soul completely destroyed. This is an impressive power for a rank 2 GU. It must be amplified by my soul's strength equivalent to 3,000 men. Chen Wei murmurs after seeing a 100 Beast King with rank 3 strength die in moments without being able to defend itself properly. Kekiki, I don't know if I should be impressed or scared by your ability to create a way to attack spirit chi so easily using this soul path method, Kuang Luo Tu's will says with a hint of fear, as he sees how even a common rank 6 immortal could be killed without being able to defend against a rank 5 version of this GU used in a powerful killer move. Kuang Luo Tu's will's fear is not unfounded, as until now, the Chi path had always used spirit Chi as a support aspect without attack methods, and the same applies to the refinement path, which lacks attack methods. But Chen Wei's new creation not only doesn't lack strong attack methods, it seems to exist solely to kill. Well, let's give this new creation a simple and self-explanatory name. How about Soul Scratch GU? Chen Wei speaks simply, as if the GU in his hand was something nothing out of the ordinary and not a GU that shocked even a rank 8 immortal. Wang Mei's paw. In a luxurious and richly decorated room, every inch of which could make a person who enjoys an indulgent and lavish lifestyle shed tears of joy upon seeing the room of their dreams. As if responding to this expectation, in a large bed that could easily fit more than 4 people in the middle of the room, a girl of celestial beauty who seemed to have descended to the world was crying non-stop. But unlike an indulgent luxury lover who would be shedding tears of happiness, her tears were of sadness. Chen Wei, you idiot. Abandoning me to cultivate alone. Wang Mei, lying on the bed hugging the pillow, murmured with a mixture of emotions, melancholy, anger, sadness, and various others. The sight of a girl with such a cute and innocent appearance in a state of depression because she was abandoned by her lover would instantly evoke sympathy from any young lady, just as it would make any young man roar in rage while vowing to teach a lesson to the stupid husband who left the girl. Soon, the girl's tears, which stained the pillow, began to gather in one spot, shining with a strong light blue glow. This made the already sad room even more desolate, as the tears condensed into a beautiful blue celestial butterfly-shaped GU. Kekikik, this is an innovative refinement method. Kuang Luo Tu murmured in a low voice as he observed the whole scene from a distance, ready to intervene in case something went wrong with the GU's refinement. Yes, but it's not a very bearable process. Wang Mei said as she wiped her tears before checking the GU she had refined, a sad expression on her face. This expression was not because the GU had any problems or the refinement was a failure, but because the strong emotions from the emotion path had not completely subsided and still haunted her heart. These emotions were the reason she was crying as if the world was ending because Chen Wei spent a night cultivating instead of sleeping with her. Of course, his actions made her sad and angry, but not to the point of crying endlessly on the bed. She fully understood that what he was doing was to be strong enough to protect them, though she would never admit that to him since she always acted like a spoiled and emotional girl when he was around. Kekikik, what's a little sadness or suicidal thoughts to obtain such a fantastic GU that I created personally for you? Insolent girl. Kuang Luo Tu was interrupted in his speech by another flick from Wang Mei. If any of his mortal enemies saw this, they would cough up blood at the girl's audacity. HMPH, don't even think about creating more of these GU for me. Wang Mei said, looking at the little toad who encouraged her after she suggested this cultivation method, saying the emotional suffering would be bearable for her. But the bearable he mentioned, she discovered during the refinement, meant she wouldn't die from sadness and he would prevent any of hers attempt to kill herself out of sorrow. Not that she tried, but her emotions strongly pushed her in that direction. Well, how about the next GU instead of the desolate lady GU being something more manageable for your feelings? Kuang Luota suggested while floating in the air, reviewing the Rank 2 Emotion Path GU list for Wang Mei. I'm not going to refine anything else for now. I only did this for the Desolate Lady GU because I needed to swap my Vital GU for an Emotion Path 1, Wang Mei said, looking at her new Vital GU, which was actually the same as the old one, just used in the refinement process to change its main path from Water Path to Emotion Path. Kekekek, so be it then. My disciple is coming here anyway, so you won't have time to refine. Kuang Luota was interrupted by Wang Mei, who got up from the bed using the Wisdom Path GU in her aperture, given by Kuang Luota, to change her emotional state. Forget what I said and go away. Wang Mei said, blushing furiously with great embarrassment because she decided to refine the lady's pleasure GU now that she knew Chen Wei was coming, but she would never let anyone else know this. Soon, Wang Mei heard heavy footsteps outside the door, making her stand in front of it with great anticipation as she saw the door open, revealing Chen Wei with a remorseful expression. Mayor, you were waiting for me. Well, my love, I'm sorry for. Chen Wei couldn't finish his carefully prepared apology as Wang Mei ran into his arms, kissing him with her arms around his neck before pulling him onto their bed, an act to which he did not resist at all. Kekekek, young ones full of hormones. Both Kuang Luota wills, the one with Wang Mei and the other with Chen Wei, said simultaneously as they left the room to give the couple privacy. Feng Hua's paw. Informative Wind GU is really interesting, Feng Hua said as she examined one of her newest creations, where she tried to combine the concepts of wind and information path. Kekeki, it's indeed a great investigative GU type, besides belonging to the wind path which is your focus for now. Kuang Luota, who enthusiastically helped Feng Hua create and refine her new GU, making it quite efficient since most of them had information path concepts. Using it with the good news wind GU would be a great combination for a reconnaissance GU master, Feng Hua said, a bit of discontent on her face and a hint of irritation in her voice. Hey, calm down, little irritable girl. I know you want your direct and flamboyant attack methods. Kuang Luota said, seeing the expression on the young girl's face, but know that the information path is not for defenseless and inoffensive people but for those with cruel and precise attacks. But I particularly don't see how this would be possible. Simply the concept of attacking someone directly using information doesn't enter my mind. Feng Hua honestly expresses her doubts regarding this aspect of the information path, as those related to obtaining knowledge to aid in cultivation she easily understood, but the concept of attack is still a mystery to her. Kekeki, look at this then. Kuang Luota creates an image in the air showing the fight between two young GU masters who seem to be from the northern plains due to their tanned skin. The two youths are fighting fiercely against each other, but the young man with red hair, a muscular body, and more than 2.5 meters tall is at a clear advantage over the other, a young man with a frail body and short stature, not exceeding 1 meter and 60 centimeters in height, and white hair, fighting with all his might just to stay alive. I don't understand, the muscular young man from the strength path is clearly winning and will kill the white-haired one who cultivates the information path. Feng Hua comments while watching the fight, in which one side advances heroically with strength and ferocity to destroy the world, while the other side, belonging to the information path, continues to launch weak attacks in the form of words, trying to distract the enemy to be able to escape. Kekekek, believe me, the white-haired youth will not lose. Right after Kuang Luotu's words, as if reacting to him, the white-haired youth begins to laugh maniacally while declaring the end of his enemy. That laugh, don't tell me. But before Feng Hua could complete her thought, she sees a killer move that the young man called Heavenly Omniscience being activated. This is incredible, even just seeing an image of the battle, I feel my mind being overwhelmed. Feng Hua comments as a gigantic number of random, mostly useless pieces of information flood her mind, filling it and allowing almost no space for new thoughts. But Feng Hua's situation is considerably better compared to the muscular youth, who is now lying on the ground, foaming at the mouth, with eyes open but lifeless. His heart still beats and his body is still alive, but his mind has been completely destroyed. Kekeki, do you understand now? The focus of the information path is not to attack someone's body directly, but their mind. Kuang Luota declares with great pride, demonstrating the magnificence of a path he used to reach the pinnacle of the GU world. Yes, I understand, Master, Feng Hua, being extremely talented in the information path, didn't need Kwang Luotawil's words to understand what he wanted to convey with the images, but his words still left her deeply moved. Now, after seeing this, I had a wave of inspiration for creating an attack-type GU. Feng Hua says, her eyes shining with excitement at the prospect of advancing in her cultivation. I'll call it words in the wind. Kekiki, this is the ferocity I expect from a true information path cultivator, not that weak and pathetic route this new generation has taken. Kwang Luotawil speaks with great excitement and enthusiasm upon seeing Feng Hua's determination. Yu Lian Pav. Ah, I finally reached the upper stage. A girl of natural beauty and innocence says with a happy smile that could brighten anyone's day on her cute face. In just another half-month, I believe I can reach rank 2. The girl says almost as if skipping with happiness at her cultivation advancing so rapidly. And she wouldn't be wrong for that, as in just 1 month, moving from rank 1 initial stage to rank 2 initial stage, as she expects, would be a cultivation speed capable of shocking the world and declaring her a celestial talent by the Xiangmao clan. But despite the current happiness and excitement, she doesn't consider herself this great legendary genius, partly because she knows a large part of her success comes from the help she received from Kwang Luo and another part because she saw the development of Chen Wei and the others who are advancing even faster than she is. Herb poison, ah, I really wish I had a wood path GU as my vital, Yu Lian says, looking at the GU in her aperture, but despite having herb in its name, the most important part is poison, because that's the path this GU belongs to. Don't forget what I said about your potential being much greater in the poison path. Besides, you would never achieve Supreme Grandmaster attainment in the wood path because of Genesis Lotus. Kekikik, Kwang Luotu, who floats above Yu Lian's shoulder, comments after seeing her muttering against his decision. But, the poison path is a path of assassins and dishonorable men. Yu Lian retorts, remembering Kwang Luotu's numerous insults against the wood path, which he called lame, and Genesis Lotus, whom he called a repressed homosexual who doesn't even know how to be a competent venerable. But stop talking, curious little girl, and continue cultivating until rank 2, and no making that angry face, you'll thank me for this in the future. Kwang Luotawil reprimands Yu Lian like an authoritarian father trying to discipline a mischievous girl. In a luxurious cultivation room where even the smallest detail is made of materials of tremendous value, a young man with a heroic appearance sits in a lotus position on a cushion, eyes closed in a deep state of cultivation. I am on the verge of a master attainment in blood path, just one more step and I'm there, Chen Wei says, still in his meditative state, describing his feelings. Although, feelings might not be the most accurate word since Chen Wei has absolute certainty about the level of his attainment, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Kekikik, your first master attainment is a mortal who just started cultivating. Future venerables are indeed extraordinary people, Kwang Luotawil says with great admiration for Chen Wei's progress, which even he, acclaimed as one of the greatest geniuses of this era, cannot compare to. I am merely someone slightly above average. Kwang Luotu, tell me, when did you reach your first master attainment? Chen Wei's words are calm and modest as he curiously asks Kwang Luotawil. It was shortly after I became a rank 4 GU master, when I was already an old man. Ah, those were good times, Kekikik, Kwang Luotawil replies vaguely, as he has been doing with most of Chen Wei's personal questions since they began their master-disciple relationship a month ago. And as I imagine, even that result would place you among the top 1% most talented, right? Chen Wei asks, but he already knows the answer, as despite knowing many GU masters he supposed had quasi-master attainments, he has never seen anyone he could describe as a legitimate master in any path. This knowledge in the past came from his estimates of reading the novel and his personal understanding, but now mainly from witnessing various demonstrations and explanations from Kwang Luo of the blood path, as he is a legitimate master in this path. If asked to describe it in one phrase, Chen Wei would call it a perfect work of art, with every minute movement and detail executed with the utmost precision and accuracy, making even Chen Wei, always acclaimed as a genius, feel inadequate in his own abilities. Yet, Chen Wei does not think this representation does justice to how incredible it is to see someone with a master attainment demonstrating their skills. As in the novel, it is made to seem common when Fang Yuan has numerous attainments reaching the level of Great Grand Master and often faces opponents of equally great abilities. Kekakik, you are greatly overestimating the average GU Master's talent. If I'm not mistaken, among all the GU Masters to walk this world, even among the most talented, the number with master attainments would be around 0.07%, Kuang Luo Will says after hearing Chen Wei's words. Coming from an information path immortal like you, I judge that this percentage is not a guess, right? After reflecting a bit on Kuang Luo Will's words, Chen Wei speaks with confidence. Kekaki, you could say so in a way. Well, do you plan to keep talking and never make the breakthrough? After laughing slowly, Kuang Luo Will quickly changes the subject to the reason why both he and Chen Wei are in this cultivation room. Ah, you are right, let's start then. Chen Wei says as he closes his eyes to enter a meditative state again. Even now, moments away from attempting his breakthrough to rank 4, he does not feel nervous for 2 reasons. First, the extensive preparation he has made, which includes various rank 3 GU, and second, his confidence in his own abilities, which can be described as among the greatest anyone of his rank has ever had. Furthermore, another part of his lack of nervousness comes from Kuang Luo Will being right beside him, preparing various immortal methods to save Chen Wei if he fails in his breakthrough and suffers a serious injury. In truth, if Chen Wei wanted to go through this without any risk, he could ask Kuang Luo for rank 5 methods to assist in the breakthrough, as well as use his infinite primeval essence, but he did not request this, because he doesn't want to, and even if he wanted to, he suspects that Kuang Luo would refuse. The reason is simple. Despite the tribulation and difficulty in cultivation being hard to overcome and presenting great risks, they bring even more benefits and learning. To the immortal level, tribulations or the benefits are the Tao marks, and at the mortal level it is the cultivation experiences that lead to a greater amount of human qi during immortal ascension. Thus, neither Kuang Luo nor Chen Wei would consider taking the easier, simpler route now, which would reduce Chen Wei's future strength and potential. Kekaki, truly impressive determination, Kuang Luo Will says with a certain irony and sarcasm in his voice as he watches Chen Wei prepare to overcome a challenge that is nothing to someone like him, who has faced several myriad tribulations in the past. Right, Chen Wei says as he activates and checks various rank 3 GU worms. He starts with the activation of the rank 3 disaster warning GU, which alerts the GU master a few moments before he makes a big mistake in his breakthrough. Then, the single-use rank 3 celestial barrier GU, which establishes a secondary barrier around Chen Wei's aperture in case he overloads it, giving him enough time to correct his mistake before it breaks entirely and he dies in the worst-case scenario. Third comes the rank 3 expert awareness GU, which allows Chen Wei to become much more focused, skilled, and methodical in one chosen activity for its duration, which now is his breakthrough in cultivation. Lastly, the rank 3 essence reservoir GU, which allows a GU master to store up to 300% of rank 3 peak stage primeval essence, to be used freely later for cultivation or GU usage. Kekaki, since this is the last chance before your breakthrough, are you sure you don't need more time or more GU to assist you? Kuang Luo asks, not overly concerned since he could easily save Chen Wei if something went wrong. His words are more of a final test of Chen Wei's conviction. Why would I? In fact, I was tempted to attempt it without the assistance of any GU, but for a bit more safety, I decided against it in the end. This decision also came from the fact that he does not expect to make his breakthrough to rank 5 without any assistance, so using the help of GU now would be more valuable experience than using none. In fact, now with his primeval C filling up to 99% of his aperture, he has no concern about not having enough primeval essence to need GU of this type to assist in his breakthrough, unlike most GU masters. His main concern, as evidenced by his choice of GU, is about destroying his own aperture during the breakthrough due to the large amount of primeval essence, which is just a step away from being an extreme physique. This concern arose after his primeval C was increased to 99% by Kuang Luo II, as according to his knowledge of the novel, if he continued cultivating with such talent, there was a great chance he would become an extreme physique. But after Kuang Luo II's words assured him that only those fated would become extreme physiques, he need not worry since that was not his fate. Well, now let's go. Chen Wei says as he applies his total control over the peak stage snow-silver primeval essence in his aperture, making it circulate at high speed while applying great pressure to his aperture walls. In a few moments, Chen Wei sees large cracks forming on his aperture walls at an extremely rapid pace, but this does not shock him, as someone who has experienced this process twice already understands how fast and sudden a breakthrough can be. It's really difficult to keep so much primeval essence under control, Chen Wei murmurs, maintaining his full attention on his breakthrough, where his greatest difficulty now is managing his large amount of primeval essence. Of course, he is not attempting the breakthrough with his primeval essence at 99%, but at a more controllable 90%. Yet, even so, the pressure and instability presented by his primeval essence are much greater than someone with an A- grade talent of 90% would experience. The only reason he has not lost control even one time so far is due to the expert awareness GU, which greatly enhances his ability in the breakthrough, as well as the disaster warning GU, which has already prevented Chen Wei several times from heading toward major problems during this process. Just one more step. Chen Wei thinks as the last parts of his crystal aperture walls finish cracking, giving way to the membrane of light aperture walls. Kekakik, congratulations, you are now a rank 4 GU master, the peak of the world. Kuang Luo, who observed the entire process, says jokingly after seeing Chen Wei make his breakthrough with little difficulty. Yeah, really funny. Chen Wei murmurs while looking at his primeval sea, filled to 90% with rank 3 peak stage primeval essence, while the essence reservoir GU now has only 140% primeval essence. As Chen Wei inspects his aperture, it does not take long for him to see light gold primeval essence appearing, indicating his new status as a rank 4 initial stage GU master, which, for someone only 18 years old like him, is a spectacular achievement. This can be counted as my first small step in cultivation. After achieving what is the dream of almost all GU masters in the world and ascending to the peak of the mortal world at the young age of just 18, Chen Wei calmly declares that only now can he say he has truly begun his cultivation journey. How did Mayer and the others do in their breakthrough? Chen Wei asks as he using primeval stones replaces his rank 3 peak stage primeval essence with the rank 4 version. Kekakik, you were really the one who took the longest, you know. Both Wang Mei and Feng Hua successfully made their breakthroughs to rank 3, and Yu Lian completed hers to rank 2 before you even started, Kekakekaki, Kuang Luo Will says, floating like a scholar toad appearing spirit. Chen Wei nods while looking at the light gold primeval essence filling his aperture to 99% after he uses a large number of primeval stones to recover it in this short period, but it doesn't stop there as this primeval essence is quickly absorbed by a GU like water in a reservoir. This GU, of course, is the rank 4 Nine Eyes liquor worm, which he had refined beforehand a few days after arriving here with Kuang Luo's help, who was not at all impressed with the existence of this GU and even introduced the rank 5 version called 12 Essences liquor worm to Chen Wei. In fact, according to Kuang Luo, he personally knew the Wine Emperor, who had an immortal rank 7 version of the liquor worm. So, since they began cultivating under Kuang Luo's tutelage, both Chen Wei and the girls have had access to liquor worms of their respective ranks, which had helped Chen Wei, who already had a rank 3 liquor worm, very much until now. Kekakik, the effect is really fantastic, isn't it? That's why clans with immortals never let the recipe for this GU leak to smaller clans without immortals. Kekakik, Kuang Luo says, laughing as he sees Chen Wei's primeval essence transforming into rank 4 middle stage bright gold primeval essence. This is really incredible, so tell me, has your main body finished the killer move? Not caring much about the rank 4 middle stage primeval essence starting to fill his aperture, Chen Wei asks Kuang Luo about something that concerns him more. Kekakekaki, young people are really anxious. Kuang Luo says, snapping his fingers, causing an infinite amount of information to appear before Chen Wei's eyes. Well, this is great, the main body is almost finishing the killer move. Kuang Luo says, transmitting some information to Chen Wei, indicating that there are 3 days left until the killer move is completed. So be it, an immortal inheritance of the blood path. Chen Wei says with conviction, now knowing how little time is left for Kuang Luo to complete the killer move that will allow the full transmission of immortal inheritance to mere mortals like him and the others. Kekakik, my hard work, Kakakik, is finally complete. A hoarse and funereal voice speaks amid a satisfied laugh. This laughter comes from a dimly lit dark room, entirely made from floor to ceiling and walls of a type of black obsidian as dark as the night sky, allowing not even the slightest light to emerge. Yet, as if to challenge this declaration, the walls, ceiling, and floor bear luminescent white markings forming various irregular shapes with no discernible pattern, except for the floor, which features a pentagram also in luminescent white, shining much brighter and filled with designs that might seem like strange and unknown marks to mortals, who might mistakenly think they are random doodles made by an insane person. However, immortals would recognize almost all these symbols, except for two, even though they have been carved uniformly at different points of the pentagram, which appears to be part of some ritual in the eyes of mortals. The reason immortals can recognize these marks is that they are Tao marks, and not just a few. In fact, if counted one by one, each one of the 5 points of the pentagram presents exactly 10,000 Tao marks, identical to each other but entirely different from those at other points of the pentagram. Clearly, this is the work of a highly skilled immortal, and not only that but also of great wealth. Any immortal with significant standing seeing this room would know that the black obsidian making up the room is a rare rank 7 information path material, quite difficult to obtain in the current era where Inkmen are a scarce people. Moreover, if a mere rank 6 immortal saw the Tao marks on the floor, he might cough up blood at the number of Tao marks carved there. In each point, there are more than he could dream of achieving as a rank 6 immortal, since even at the peak of his strength, after all tribulations, he would have at most 9,500 Tao marks. Even a mid-level rank 7 immortal might feel the same, as the 5 points together total 50,000 Tao marks, while the maximum he would achieve at his peak cultivation in rank 7 would typically be 32,000 Tao marks. This shows that whoever made this place not only possesses unimaginable wealth but also did not hesitate to spend it lavishly. Tao marks, these are really the foundations of the GU system in this world. Yu Lian says, looking at the Tao marks carved into one of the pentagram's points below her feet, which feature 2 types of distinct drawings divided into equal parts. One set resembles drawings unsuccessfully attempting to represent a green tree, easily recognized by any immortal as woodpath Tao marks, while the other set looks like a failed depiction of dark purple smoke, which immortals would recognize as poison path Tao marks. Kekakik, of course, they are fragments of the great Tao that governs this world. Kuang Luotu, now in his main body rather than a will, responds in a low tone. He is currently at the top point of the pentagram, presenting a large number of drawings that attempt to represent scrolls. These drawings on the floor are information path Tao marks with no other Tao marks drawn alongside them. This is so interesting, it's a pity my world didn't have something similar, Yu Lian says, still fascinated and intrigued by the concept of Tao marks, which she only recently learned about when Kuang Luotu explained the drawings on the floor to them. Your world probably had something similar, you just didn't know about it. Chen Wei responds almost automatically while counting the approximate number of drawings below his feet for the 4th time. In my world, we understood that everything was made of atoms, and that everything was governed by a set of rules we called the laws of physics. Chen Wei says, leaving everyone in the room curious, but he could care less about their curiosity when he has his brow furrowed after arriving at the same approximate result for the Tao marks drawn on the floor for the 4th time. Clearly, the 3 girls, who have no idea how significant each of these marks is, cannot understand what he feels seeing a number he estimates to be in the tens of thousands of Tao marks carved as if they were nothing, but he knows this is more than the average rank 6 immortal would have. And together they have more Tao marks than a rank 7 immortal would have, which is even more impressive when below his feet. Like Kuang Luotu, there are drawings of only one type of Tao mark, but these drawings would be unknown even to the most informed immortals. These are, of course, what Chen Wei imagines to be blood path Tao marks. These Tao marks are lazy drawings attempting to replicate the shape of a red drop of blood, closely resembling a drawing of light blue water droplets, also appearing to have been lazily drawn while at the pentagram's point where Wang Mei stands. Speaking of Wang Mei, like Chen Wei, some of the Tao marks below her feet would not be recognized by immortal GU masters, who might only notice their auras similar to wisdom path. Specifically, the Tao marks carved into the floor are poorly done drawings of a pinkish-blue heart that, despite being awkwardly drawn, still display great beauty and elegance, like the not seen here wisdom path Tao marks that resemble a bluish-purple brain. Kekekek, we can give you some time to reminisce about your old world. Chen Wei, hearing these words from Kuang Luo Tu, simply shakes his head in disagreement. Although he believes his secrets about his original world have already been discovered by Kuang Luo Tu, he still doesn't want to talk about them, as in the almost impossible scenario where the toad cannot read his mind, he could remain safe and have an advantage, albeit a small one, against the toad. These thoughts not only pass through Chen Wei's mind but also become a strong conviction, which might be shocking to someone who saw the two interact harmoniously and amicably like a master and disciple with great affection for each other. In fact, he imagines that some innocent youths or foolish people might call him an ungrateful and unfilial young man for still distrusting Kuang Luo Tu completely after all the benefits and teachings he provided without asking for anything in return. But Chen Wei, who knows the nature of people, imagines that it's impossible that a mortal who reached rank 8, the pinnacle of the GU world in the absence of a venerable, would be a charitable person wanting to help him just to be the master of a future venerable. Well, if you have nothing to say, then we can start assimilating the immortal inheritances, right, honorable immortal? Feng Hua asks with doubt while looking at Kuang Luo Tu, who had an expectant expression, hoping Chen Wei would talk about his world, which ended after Chen Wei shook his head. She, like the other girls, is at a point of the pentagram that presents two sets of equally divided Dao marks carved into the floor, half of which are the same as the scrolls Kuang Luo Tu has at his point of the pentagram. But the other half are different drawings from the others, as they are three wavy lines on top of each other, attempting to resemble wind, though poorly drawn. Nonetheless, in the eyes of any immortal, they are obviously wind path Dao marks. Kekeki, all right, let's begin, Kuang Luo Tu says in a harsh voice as he starts activating various killer moves in sequence. Immortal killer move, book mountain legends emerge. Immortal killer move, legends come true in the eyes of the gifted. Immortal killer move, inheritances passed between generations. Immortal killer move, peerless geniuses learn ancestral knowledge. The moment Kuang Luo Tu took to activate the various killer moves was so brief that even Chen Wei wouldn't have noticed if it weren't for the pentagram below his feet starting to shine brightly, as well as the blood path Dao marks glowing a deep dark red. But before Chen Wei could see anything else, he finds himself alone in a completely black environment without the slightest light, sound, or sense of place, as if he were in a void where concepts like time and space are non-existent. However, after what could have been a mere moment or thousands of years, a giant white and black mountain appears before him, filling his entire vision as if it were his whole world now. What is this? Chen Wei moves around the mountain, floating like a spirit among various words floating on the mountain. Each of these words seems to contain profound knowledge. Chen Wei murmurs before his attention is caught by a collection of words appearing to be written in red ink, emanating a bloody aura. All human blood shares the same characteristics derived from the great ancestor Ren Zhu. Chen Wei murmurs as he reads some of the information contained in the words, which, once read, enter his mind and begin to be assimilated. Blood is the essence of life and a heavenly gift given to beings who live in the GU world. Again, after reading this amount of information, it enters his mind, which now feels fuller as he tries to assimilate this information. The blood essence of beasts is the source of their vitality and thus the source of their lineages. Information enters without stopping, filling Chen Wei's mind. Not all this information is useful to him, as some of it is just basic knowledge like blood types, veins carrying blood, or blood being pumped by the heart. But amid this basic information, there is also deep and hidden knowledge that even Chen Wei finds extremely intriguing as he assimilates it into his mind, eliminating various doubts and blocks he previously had in his attainment of the blood path. This is the effect of the killer move, it's incredible. Chen Wei says excitedly as he moves quickly from group of words to group of words, absorbing knowledge that enters his mind. Chen Wei quickly loses track of time, as the only thing he can think of doing is obtaining more knowledge about the blood path, which is rapidly boosting his attainment in a speed he never imagined possible before. And so Chen Wei continued until he had absorbed all the knowledge about the blood path that he could find on the mountain, which left his mind filled to the last millimeter. Now, all his attention and strength were necessary to assimilate this knowledge. Chen Wei tried to do this as quickly as possible because the immense pressure he felt in his mind was not only causing him pain but also giving him a premonition that if he didn't assimilate all this knowledge, he would not only lose a divine opportunity but also could be left with some sort of mental aftereffect. Thus, for what seemed like an endless time, Chen Wei had to continuously, arduously, and with great effort assimilate all the knowledge he had absorbed into his mind, which now seemed bottomless, making Chen Wei feel a bit regretful for having taken in so much. Finally, I'm done. After what felt like decades to him, Chen Wei finally finished assimilating the last part of the knowledge in his mind. But before he could do anything else or seek more knowledge on the mountain, he saw his entire environment change when his eyes opened, and he found himself lying in his bedroom. What? Has the effect of the killer move ended? Chen Wei murmured while still in a stupor after waking up. Before he could do anything else, he felt someone approaching him quickly as Wang Mei hugged him tightly and kissed him. You idiot! You made me worry by taking so long to wake up. Wang Mei said after breaking the kiss, still hugging him tightly. How long was I? Chen Wei couldn't even finish his sentence before Wang Mei interrupted. You've been like this for 2 weeks. Wang Mei said quickly. The other girls and I were only like this for 3 days, with Yu Lian being the last to wake up. Wang Mei didn't stop hugging Chen Wei the whole time, as if afraid that if she let go, he might fall back into a deep sleep. I imagine you absorbed fewer words from the mountain than I did, right? Chen Wei said while stroking Wang Mei's head, beginning to recall the time he spent in a state of sleep. Though he understood the girl's choice to absorb less knowledge, as he had considered the same when he realized how difficult it might be to assimilate everything, he ultimately chose to push forward because it was too good an opportunity to pass up. And he was satisfied with his decision because it was a risk that paid great dividends. He now felt his attainment had increased to the level of a quasi-Grand Master, making everything he knew and could do before seem like child's play. If he had to describe the feeling in one word, it would be incredible. This is the sensation in Chen Wei's heart, who, now recalling Kuang Luotu's demonstrations of the blood path, not only finds them unimpressive but also sees various flaws and shallow concepts that need correction and more depth. Mountain. Words. What are you talking about? Wang Mei asked with confusion and concern on her face. The inheritance. I ended up on a mountain where I could absorb words containing knowledge, didn't you experience the same? Chen Wei asked, puzzled, looking at Wang Mei, who seemed to have no idea what he was talking about. The rest of us were just in a completely black space. Wang Mei paused, as if to remember it. And we received the contents of an inheritance in our heads and had to assimilate the information. Wang Mei had discussed with the others about their experiences, so she knew they all had the same experience. That's. Kuang Luotu said what he did to me was different from what he did to you all. Chen Wei began to speak with suspicion of Kuang Luotu's actions, but mid-sentence, he was rendered speechless by a large amount of information about an immortal GU recipe flooding into his mind. No, he just said you would take much longer to wake up than we did, and that you were to see him after waking up, but that can wait, right? Wang Mei, who had her face buried in Chen Wei's chest, takes her face off his chest and looks at his face, which makes her shocked to see his expression. It was because of the look on Chen Wei's face, which showed the most intense anger and hatred she had ever seen, as if he were someone facing the greatest enemy of his life, whom he hated with all his heart and soul. That damned toad, Chen Wei thought, gritting his teeth so hard they cracked, clenching his fists until they bled. The source of this rage was the recipe for a blood path immortal GU that permeated his mind. Specifically, his anger stemmed from one of the GU materials required for the refinement, the lives of all members of the Heian, Fengji, and Xiangmao clans, without sparing even a single soul. What happened? Wang Mei asks, uncertainty and fear evident in her voice, worried that the anger might be directed at her. Nothing, just someone trying to do what I hate the most. Chen Wei says while trying to calm his own rage caused by the actions of the toad. Of course, what Chen Wei refers to when he talks about what he hates the most, is not the act of killing. He himself has not only ordered the deaths of many people in the past but has also personally killed many in a cruel manner. So, if it were necessary, he would be happy to exterminate the other 2 clans. As for the Heian clan, he would not be as pleased since it goes against his plans, but even so, he would be willing to do it if it were necessary to obtain an immortal GU. Perhaps a mortal who had no notion of the value of an immortal GU could call him a heartless monster, but almost any immortal who had this opportunity would sacrifice the 3 clans with a smile on their face. But here is the key word, necessary. As probably the greatest living specialist in the blood path, he can easily see that the deaths of the three Heian clans are not necessary for the refinement. Even a layperson could see the lack of necessity for the deaths of the three mortal clans to refine an immortal Gu. And it's not as if Kuang Luotu is trying to deceive him about this, since the clans are listed as materials for the refinement. But he clearly isn't going to use them in the refinement, so it's obvious that he just wants Chen Wei to kill the three clans. In other words, to Chen Wei, it feels like Kuang Luotu is trying to ruin his plans and also to dictate how he should live his life now, forcing him to join the demonic path, which enrages Chen Wei. What did Kuang Luotu do? Is this about the inheritance? Wang Mei asks uncertainly, not knowing what is going through Chen Wei's mind. In a way, yes. I will have to talk to him to resolve this, Chen Wei says as he gets out of bed, leaving Wang Mei's embrace. She has a displeased look on her face but says nothing. He's sitting in that armchair in his study room. Wang Mei, despite wanting to spend time with Chen Wei who has finally woken up, knows that he must have very serious matters to discuss with Kuang Luotu, so she tells him where he has spent the last few days. Alright. Chen Wei nods and starts making his way to where Kuang Luotu is. Blood sacrifice Gu, truly worthy of its status as an immortal Gu. Chen Wei murmurs while analyzing the recipe for the immortal Gu in his aperture, which is a world of difference in complexity compared to that of immortal Gu. Every time he rereads this refinement recipe for an immortal Gu, Chen Wei feels he is discovering new things, even though it is a blood path immortal Gu. Chen Wei estimates that it contains the depths of the theft, information, and human paths as well. Or maybe it's just the effect of a high attainment in the blood path being able to replicate other paths, Chen Wei says while looking at another perspective that allows him to see that the Gu is stealing the essence of blood while using the information contained in the blood to transfer the human essence of the blood to it. Even though I now have a higher attainment in the blood path than Kuang Luotu, he is still a much greater genius than I am when it comes to immortal cultivation. This is a truth that Chen Wei is seeing in practice now because, although he can not only see the numerous flaws but also correct the Toad's methods in mortal blood path techniques, the same is not true for immortal methods. This is due to Kuang Luotu's practical knowledge being infinitely greater than Chen Wei's when it comes to creating immortal Gu, as well as making one path emulate the effects of others. Despite Chen Wei's theoretical knowledge allowing him to easily understand some of the concepts behind the immortal Gu recipe, he lacks the practical experience. There you are, could you explain this immortal Gu recipe in Mount Head? Chen Wei enters Kuang Luotu's study, the place where they first met. Kekakik, what could it be but the immortal Gu I promised you as the final benefit? Kuang Luotu, sitting in his armchair, speaks with a smile on his face. The Toad's appearance, even more disheveled than before, would not be the first image that comes to mind when thinking of a legendary immortal. But now, in front of Chen Wei's eyes, he knows that this is probably the strongest being he has ever encountered by far, so even in the midst of his anger, he tries to keep his emotions under control. And why are the three clans of Longhua Mountain in the recipe as materials for the refinement? Chen Wei looks at the Toad while waiting for his next actions. Kekakekaki, because I wanted it. Kuang Luotu speaks emphatically, laughing heartily like a lunatic. You. Chen Wei speaks, looking with a complex expression at Kuang Luotu. Don't act like a virtuous and righteous young man. You aren't even a centimeter of that. Kuang Luotu levitates out of his armchair, a smile on his face. Did you ever feel remorse for those you killed, or unhappiness for those you will have to kill? Kuang Luotu speaks, his smile growing with every word. Tell me. I expect that an immortal Gu specialist in the information path should know. Chen Wei's eyes follow the floating Toad as he speaks with anger in his voice. No. Kuang Luotu speaks directly and simply. Or maybe you would if you had to kill that scary little girl. I'm not sure. Kuang Luotu speaks fluidly and quickly. But I believe that if killing your clan didn't go against your plans, you would have come to me with a smile on your face. You are quite incorrect. I am a paragon of merciful virtue. Chen Wei interrupts the Toad amidst his words with a declaration full of irony. Are you developing a sense of humor now? Anyway, we both know that your anger doesn't come from killing but from this ruining your plans, Kekakik. Kuang Luo speaks as if he can see through Chen Wei, who is standing in front of him. And Chen Wei himself knows that the toad is correct, because his greatest anger and concern after discovering the toad's plan to massacre the 3 clans and devastate Longhua Mountain is how he could escape as a demonic GU master who would be hunted throughout the southern border. The reason he would have to flee is obvious, as a massacre of this scale would not go unnoticed. Worse still, if some immortals could sense the aura of a refined immortal GU permeating his body, it would be certain death. And he would have to take all this risk to help refine an immortal GU for Kuang Luo, who he believes would probably disappear after obtaining the GU, which also leaves Chen Wei in great doubt as to why he, as well as the other 3 girls, have received so many benefits from him. One joke for another, tell me the real reason why you want me to kill all the inhabitants of Longhua Mountain with my own hands, except for myself, Wang Mei, the baby in her belly, and those other 2 girls, Chen Wei asks, wanting a concrete answer from Kuang Luo instead of, because I wanted to. The fact that he might have to kill his own family is now something secondary in his eyes, as he sees it as a mortal threat to his life if, according to his agreement with Kuang Luo, the toad simply vanishes after refining the immortal GU. Kekakik, sometimes in life things are really disappointing when we don't have an answer, and if I tell you that even I don't know the reason, Kuang Luo speaks with an honest expression that doesn't convince Chen Wei at all. But this is one of the few times the immortal toad is being completely honest with Chen Wei, as he himself doesn't know why this GU recipe requires these aspects, since he wasn't its creator and doesn't have the ability to fully grasp its depth. Let's end this exchange of useless words that will lead nowhere. Kuang Luo speaks while raising 3 fingers of his right hand and pointing them at Chen Wei. I will give you 3 days to think about your choices. Either go ahead with the refinement of the immortal GU according to the recipe I created, or give up, and I, as a benevolent immortal, will let you go without any problem. Kuang Luo speaks in a way that makes him seem like a man of honor and principle who would really keep his word. Ha ha ha, tell me, am I fated to have this GU? Chen Wei speaks in a low tone after laughing angrily, leaving even Kuang Luo with a strange expression. How could I know? Kekaki, besides, what was the reason for that laugh? Is this situation driving you insane? Kuang Luo speaks in a way that conveys honesty in his voice, but Chen Wei only feels irony. You know, fate is a decree from the heavens, but we apparently fulfill it by our own will. Chen Wei speaks, his expression now completely abandoning the anger he had before, replaced by a profound calm. This comes from Chen Wei realizing for the first time in practice the influence of the fate GU on his life, because despite being able to try to avoid this immortal GU, everything leads him, either out of fear or greed, to make the opposite decision. Of course, he doesn't really believe that Kuang Luo would let him not refine the immortal GU and go away without problems, but he believes that the toad left this choice because he knows that Chen Wei won't make it anyway. Chen Wei actually finds it almost laughable, as it reminded him of a moment in the past when he judged that he wouldn't be able to do the same thing Fang Yuan did in the GUU clan, but here he is, about to do the same. And it's not as if he were like Fang Yuan, who had already become indifferent to his family. Although he feels no qualms about killing any of the clans, the same cannot be said about his family. Over more than a decade in this world, he has really grown to care for them. But after his exchange of words with Kuang Luo and his experiences of cultivation and life or death over the last few months, he has decided on a new conviction. Kekaki, only now do you realize that this is how Fate GU operates. Kekakik. Anyway, you have 3, Kuang Luo is interrupted mid-sentence. Yes, Chen Wei says resolutely, leaving Kuang Luo surprised for a moment, as he listens to Chen Wei's declaration in sequence. In this realm of rich primeval essence, where one may wield the strength to shatter armies, I refuse to linger in the abyss of mediocrity. For all my days. Today, before all, yet only for myself, I declare my unwavering conviction in this life. Today, I am a sinner, as I am weak before others and the world. Bowed by external wills, yet I shall press on without rest, following my path of cultivation, slaying whom I wish to slay, sparing whom I wish to spare, my will alone guiding my deeds. Thus, by blood, I forsake righteousness. By blood, I embrace myself, charting my course by my own convictions and beliefs. In the future, what I deem just shall be so. What I deem demonic shall be so. For in this world, above and beneath the heavens, my will alone shall reign supreme. Kuang Luo Tu, witnessing Chen Wei's declaration firsthand, has a broad smile on his face because he knows that, for now, only the two of them have heard Chen Wei's poem, but he knows that in the future, this conviction of his will be known to the entire world. Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. Roar roar, a desolate beast in the form of a wolf roars ferociously after waking up, finding itself bound from head to toe inside a large circular cell filled with various other desolate beasts of different species. This is a stark contrast from the lush forests where it lived with its pack. Roar. But before the wolf can attempt to escape, it feels the bindings around its body sucking its blood, making it realize that almost all the restraints are puncturing its veins. Despite all its struggle and effort to resist having its blood drained, it, like the other beasts fighting with the same intensity and facing the same fate, cannot do anything, as if they were no longer legendary desolate beasts but mere defenseless cubs. As the desolate beasts continue their futile struggles, their blood, drained by the needles in their veins, passes through the restraints binding their bodies, all converging at a point leading to a large hole lined with crimson-red rocks, dozens of meters in circumference and several meters deep. Mortal killer move, beast's blood purification. Chen Wei, seeing the hole filling up halfway due to the large quantity of blood from various desolate beasts, quickly activates a killer move he prepared in advance to remove the impurities belonging to other paths that the beasts have. Even with infinite primeval essence and the toad's help, this is so difficult, Chen Wei says, watching the blood level slowly decrease but its purity increase as the Dao marks of other paths disappear. But Chen Wei, controlling the killer move responsible for this effect, is sweating profusely, struggling to stay on his feet as he feels his head is going to explode from the pressure. Even a mortal killer move meant for an immortal is too much for me. Chen Wei says with a complicated expression, knowing this is only the beginning of refining the immortal Gu. Kekekek, what a pathetic display. Men in my time were much more skilled. Kuang Luo Tu, who floats in the air, says mockingly like an old man disappointed with the new generation. I could if I had more time to prepare as per the original plan, but you decided to refine the immortal Gu right now. Chen Wei, still trying to regain his composure, complains to Kuang Luo Tu. Kekekek, there's nothing I can do. Believe me, I'm angrier than you, but an emergency has arisen that will shorten the time I have to refine this Gu, Kuang Luo Tu says with an expression of irritation. This is because Kuang Luo Tu's original plan was to give Chen Wei a month to cultivate and increase his attainment to the current level, which had succeeded spectacularly. After that, he planned for Chen Wei to have 2 more months to both deepen his blood path methods with his new attainment and familiarize himself with the immortal Gu refining recipe until he knew it by heart. Unfortunately, things don't always go as planned. Now, just over 2 weeks later, he has to start refining the immortal Gu under pressure due to a major problem arriving sooner than expected, threatening to derail his 6-month plan, leaving him no choice but to proceed with the refining now. Since you are such a more qualified ancestor, can't you at least help me? Chen Wei murmurs with difficulty, watching the last drops of desolate beast's blood fall into the hole while he continues to push his mind to its limit to purify the beast's blood. Kekekekek, the heavens hate me, so if I were to even touch this refining, it would fail in ways you wouldn't comprehend, Kuang Luo Tu says, his expression becoming somber as if recalling past troubles. So the heavens really hate a toad who wants to eat the meat of a swan. Chen Wei murmurs weakly, remembering a classic saying he read in Chinese books. Kekekek, you could say that, Kuang Luo Tu laughs, looking at the hole now filled with purified blood, free of Dao marks from paths other than the blood path. It would be nice to rest, right? He says, having not slept for 3 days while preparing for this refining, knowing he won't be able to rest properly for several more days to succeed in refining this Gu, assuming the immortal Gu doesn't fail in its refining. Kekekek, well, we still have to continue, right? Kuang Luo Tu says with a wave of his hand, an equal amount of blood starts falling into the blood hole again. Here we go again, Chen Wei activates the killer move once more, beginning to refine the beast's blood at a slow pace like last time. Slowly, 4 days pass as Chen Wei spends every moment refining the blood until its quality reaches a point where even the smallest drop exudes a strong sanguinary aura. Ah, it's finished, now the second part starts, correct? Chen Wei, now looking disheveled like someone who hasn't rested or cared for their appearance in weeks, speaks with a hoarse and tired voice. Kekekek, well, I had prepared for this in advance, Kuang Luota says with a somber and horrified look. Chen Wei, standing beside, hears loud screams and cries of fear and mercy, imagining they come from a large group of variant humans, as per the GU refining plan. Mortal killer move, demonic ritual blood markings. Chen Wei activates the killer move, immediately feeling overwhelmed again, struggling to remain standing or even conscious. Meanwhile, the beast's blood in the hole, under Chen Wei's careful control, starts making markings on a completely black surface prepared beforehand as the foundation for this formation crucial for refining. Once all the blood is used to complete the precise markings on the ground, another large quantity of blood from various holes in the ceiling starts entering the formation orderly. Now that I look at these bloods, they really have distinct characteristics from one another, Chen Wei says, controlling the large quantity of variant humans' blood into the formation, beginning to fuse. This is not the first time he deals with variant humans' blood. After entering Kuang Luotu's tutelage, he had access to any type of blood he wanted, but previously, without using GU to assist him, he couldn't distinguish between variant humans' blood and pure humans' blood. Now, he feels a difference that, contrary to his expectations, doesn't come from variant humans' blood having different Dao marks than humans but from something deeper he can't fully explain, like they have completely different origins from humans. Mortal killer move, strengthening human essence. As the variant human's blood finishes merging in the center of the blood-marked formation, Chen Wei activates his killer move, causing a large number of Dao marks to transfer into the variant human's blood, slowly increasing its quality. Kekeki, this will be a long process. Kuang Luotu, merely helping Chen Wei keep his mind from collapsing, comments in a low voice. As anticipated, this is a lengthy and stressful process, during which Chen Wei must continuously operate without resting for 6 days until the variant human's blood is uniformly of immortal quality. Ah, wouldn't it have been easier to get an immortal's blood at once? Chen Wei grumbles angrily, knowing that wasn't a viable option. Kekeki, you know very well that this blood cannot belong to an immortal, Kuang Luota says, transferring a large number of GU to Chen Wei. Chen Wei merely nods, aware that an immortal whose blood was used could sense the GU's existence and possibly take it during the refining process if they were capable. Besides, the donor's death is necessary in this refining, and variant human immortals are rare. Well, now begins the final part. Chen Wei takes the GU Kuang Luo handed to him, carefully mixing them into the refining process. Rank 5 Dao Thief GU is the first he cautiously adds to the refining, followed by the rank 5 Bloodthirsty Thief GU, requiring great effort from Chen Wei to keep the refining stable. The next GU, rank 5 Shameless Thief GU, demands every ounce of his will to maintain the refining stability. But soon after getting this stage of the refining under control, Chen Wei has no time to rest as he prepares to add the final GU. He resumes by adding the rank 5 Blood type GU with great difficulty, then the rank 5 Information in Blood GU, nearly losing control entirely. Still, with the addition of the rank 5 Human Blood Compatibility GU, he feels the pressure drop by more than half. Ah, finally, now the last GU. Chen Wei says with a hoarse voice of exhaustion, his physical state akin to someone who has endured intense torture. Chen Wei caresses a rank 5 GU in his hand before adding it last to the refining. This is, of course, the rank 5 Pure Human Blood, which Chen Wei would say is a GU at the intersection of the blood path and human path, one of Kuang Luotu's most impressive achievements. After adding this final GU, Chen Wei sees the blood in the center finally merging almost completely, taking the form of a scarlet-red praying mantis with an imposing aura capable of suppressing the world. Now, the most important part. Chen Wei says, making a deep cut in his hand and controlling the blood flowing from it into the immortal GU in formation. Kekekek, the blood of a future venerable is truly incredible human path material. Kuang Luo murmurs in a low voice, unheard by Chen Wei, who wouldn't care if he did, now preoccupied with other problems. Arg. As soon as the immortal GU absorbs Chen Wei's blood, he feels a sudden, excruciating pain in his eyes, making him fall to the ground, writhing in agony. This would be a sight to leave many speechless, as Chen Wei, writhing in pain on the ground, is a respected rank 4 GU master, who could fight fiercely while losing an arm without showing pain. Yet now, he thrashes on the ground as if suffering the worst torture in the world. Arg! Damn! Damn! Chen Wei cries, desperately as tears out his eyes, hoping to end the infernal pain originating from them, but failing. He begins to cut and mutilate his entire body, hoping to alleviate the pain. Kekek. Kuang Luota watches the scene, laughing faintly as he sees Chen Wei writhing on the ground in pain for almost an hour. Ah, ah, ah. When the pain, which made losing an arm seem like a mere scratch to Chen Wei, finally subsides, he finds himself lying on the ground in a pool of his own blood. Kekekek, ah, youngsters today are really weak. Kuang Luota says, but is completely ignored by Chen Wei, who now looks at the spot where the immortal GU was, finding it empty. Where is it? As he searches for the immortal GU with his eyes, he notices something that shouldn't be happening. Eyes. Despite having torn out his eyes while mutilating himself in pain, he still has them intact now, though his body still bears the marks of his mutilation. Kekeki, this immortal GU is a single-use GU, it has now taken the form of your eyes, Kuang Luota says, looking at Chen Wei, whose pupils are now a dark crimson red instead of their previous dark blue. So, the refining is complete. Chen Wei places his hands over his eyes but feels nothing different from before. Of course not. The most important part is still missing. Kuang Luota says, using an extremely special killer move, the creation of a venerable and human path. A mortal killer move, I'd rather betray the world than let the world betray me. Of course, how could I forget? Chen Wei murmurs, thinking of his determined decision to sacrifice his clan and family for his own benefit. So be it, Chen Wei says, his now dark crimson eyes glowing with a killing intent and a deadly aura capable of shocking the world as he declares his conviction. Mother, look, I am a powerful hero of the clan. A boy of just over 7 years old speaks while holding a stick that is a heroic sword in the eyes of the boy who runs through the peripheral streets of Fengji clan. I am truly impressed by such a brave son. The boy's mother speaks as she follows behind him with a gentle and cheerful smile on her face while he carries a basket of vegetables she bought at a vegetable market in the clan. Yes, mother, I will become a strong GU master just like father was. And I will protect you. The boy speaks, remembering his late father, who is his greatest idol in this life. Something even more impressive is that he constantly boasts to his friends that his father was a GU master. The mother, hearing the boy's words, tries to maintain her smile with difficulty because, unlike the boy who lives in a kind and hopeful world, she, as an adult woman who knows suffering, knows the precarious state her family is in. In fact, not too long ago, her life and that of her family could be described as a paradise compared to what could be expected of a mortal like her. She was married to a rank 1 upper stage GU master who was her childhood sweetheart and also a mortal family's son who was lucky enough to awaken as a GU master. But their life took a turn for the worse after her husband's life was taken in the war, and since then, the situation of their life over the months has been deteriorating more and more, mainly because of other people who have eyes on the wealth left by her husband, which doesn't exist since most of it was taken by the teammates of her husband, of course not that she could do anything as any mortal. Ji Bei, walk more slowly, or else I won't be able to catch. Boom! The boy who was running swings his stick from side to side, hearing his mother's words being cut off by a loud bang and subsequent shockwave that knocks the boy flat on the ground. Mother, are you? The boy, who fell to the ground, quickly turns to look for his mother, but the only thing he sees is the area where his mother should be completely devastated as if by a piercing attack. And worst of all for the boy, who now cries out of fear and sadness, is that the zone of destruction in front of him, stretching for hundreds of meters, is filled with blood but without a single body in sight, like something straight out of one of the scary stories he heard from his father or mother. Mother, WH. The boy, in his despair, runs towards the blood-covered rubble in front of him with a desperate expression on his face. But before the boy could do anything, all the blood in the boy's body leaves him in just a moment. From a scratch on his knee and joins a ball of blood floating in the air, leaving the boy dead with his body as dry as a mummy lying motionless on the ground. Chen Wei Pav. Well, I guess courtesy isn't necessary when invading a clan. Chen Wei, with his hand extended towards what used to be the wall of Clan Fengji but now is just rubble on the ground. Just like the scene in front of him, where the view of a mortal reaches, all constructions such as houses and shops have been destroyed without exception, leaving no trace of the mortal corpses that were passing through the streets. Heaven-piercing blood. Chen Wei speaks, finding it somewhat ironic that this killer move started the massacre of Clan Fengji. As Chen Wei walks calmly towards the hole of the wall personally created by him, a large number of Rank 1 and Rank 2 GU masters who were guarding the nearby areas of the wall or happened to be in the region advanced to create a defensive formation against him. Stop right there, you damn demon. You demon, I'll kill you for causing such destruction to my clan. Wait, isn't this the Blood Prince who has been missing for 2 months? Quick, prepare yourselves, this must be an attack from Heian clan. Seeing the low-level GU masters trying to resist him, Chen Wei doesn't even bother to engage them in this futile act when he uses the Rank 4 GU, Blood Demon Rush GU, reducing the hundreds of meters between them in an instant. How is he so Retreat, this demon Help, where is the clan leader? In the few seconds it took for Chen Wei to reach them, all the GU masters could do was scream and curse in despair, but this didn't last long because after Chen Wei used the Rank 4 King Blood Sword GU, the only thing left in the perimeter now are bodies of all shapes. This is the fate of the weak. Chen Wei speaks, contemplating both the situation of the mutilated GU masters on the ground as well as his situation of having to perform these actions, even though in the end it's his own choice. Arg, please have mercy, I have a wife and key. Chen Wei looks at a man who was hiding behind the debris, probably thinking he hadn't been seen by Chen Wei, but his now dead body on the ground proves he was wrong. Anyone uninformed looking at the man's body, which doesn't have a drop of blood, would now think he's some kind of mummy that was mummified after freezing to death on one of the high peaks of Longshan Mountain. But if the mutilated bodies on the ground, which now present the same characteristics and seem like bloodless mummies, are indicators of something for someone who witnesses this scene without knowing what happened, that something is that the state of these bodies was the work of someone's hands. All the blood from these people using my Rank 4 Deadly Leech GU only recovered 2% of primeval essence. Chen Wei murmurs because now he has to deal with an aspect of GU cultivation that he had the privilege of ignoring for a long time, the finite primeval essence. Of course, he could have asked Kuang Luo to devise some method to provide him with infinite primeval essence, but apart from not knowing if he would agree with that idea, he wants to do this alone now to test how much his real battle strength has grown. Meanwhile, Chen Wei walks calmly towards the center of Clan Fengji while killing all the unfortunate mortals and GU masters who are unlucky enough to be in front of him. You damn demon, stay right there. For the honor and justice of Clan Fengji. You wretched creature, for the life of my grandson that you took, I will make you pay. I swear by my honor that I will give you a fate worse than death. Chen Wei soon finds himself surrounded by a group of furious Rank 3 GU masters who are the elders of the clan led by a Rank 4 GU master, the clan leader. If it were the majority of GU masters, even at Rank 4, in such a situation of being within enemy territory surrounded by their elite warriors, they would already be thinking of ways to escape. But for Chen Wei, it's the opposite since the reason he invaded the Fengji clan so indiscreetly and has been calmly walking, killing along his path in a straight line, is to draw out the elders and the clan leader to him. Honored elders, how nice of you to spare me the trouble of looking for you. Chen Wei says with a big smile on his face as if he were meeting old friends he hadn't seen in a long time. But the words coming out of his mouth are not just provocations as is customary for GU masters, since he really wanted to cause all this destruction and chaos to draw them out at the beginning of the battle and then, after killing them, eliminate the Fengji clan GU masters simply by using blood creatures. Blood Prince, you disappeared 2 months ago during the Battle of the Blood Lake and now you reappear attacking our clan. Did you obtain the immortal inheritance? The Fengji clan leader speaks while keeping his eyes fixed on Chen Wei, ready to react to any slight movement he makes. And here I was thinking you would ask about your daughter. Well, my mistake, Chen Wei says, sighing, since he can easily see through the Fengji clan leader's schemes by speaking to him in this way. Using the Rank 4 Blood Demon eyes, he can easily see a Rank 3 upper stage elder using a GU to stay hidden while sneaking up to attack him stealthily. Feng Hua, so you are with her. I swear if even a hair on her head is. But the clan leader is interrupted mid-sentence in his speech as a worried father in the eyes of the clan members, and also to distract Chen Wei, by the elder responsible for attacking him who is now trembling on the ground, completely visible to everyone. I believe this is one of your elders, correct? Chen Wei says, looking at the clan leader, while the elder on the ground writhes because his blood has completely stopped circulating under the effect of the rank 4 bloodless circulation GU. Damn it. Die. Soon, an elder who was responsible for attacking Chen Wei if the surprise attack plan failed makes his move by launching 3 powerful wind blades at Chen Wei. Mortal killer move, celestial wind blades. How? The elder who launched the killer move, which was his trump card against Chen Wei, is shocked when he sees Chen Wei, using the sword in his hand, destroy all 3 attacks with just one fluid cut, even if all the wind blades are coming from different directions. In fact, it's not just him who is left shocked, but all the elders and the clan leader observing nearby, because the move executed by Chen Wei can only be described with one word in their eyes: perfection. This was truly a shock for these elders who lived their lives at the peak of the world, being the greatest geniuses of the clan, but now a mere 18-year-old youth made them all feel like inadequate beginners with just one move. Arg. But soon, the elders are snapped out of their trance by the scream of the elder who launched the killer move, now lying on the ground cut in half, while a young man with a demonic appearance, clad in blood armor and wielding a blood sword, stands on his dead body. Mortal killer move, Blood King killing rampage. This is the killer move that Chen Wei personally created after numerous trials and errors with continuous effort. In the eyes of these low-attainment mortals, it is a technique that represents perfection. In fact, even for someone with real talent in the GU world, this killer move would be impressive as it perfectly combines various rank 4 GU like the King Blood Sword GU, Blood King Armor GU, Blood Demon Rush GU, as well as rank 3 Scary Bleeding GU and Giant Leech GU, and the rank 2 Determined Blood Killer GU to create a perfect killer move in the eyes of anyone who beholds it. How is such skill possible in someone so young? An elder exclaims while attacking Chen Wei from behind. Mortal killer move, Demon Killing Wind. Chen Wei, seeing this, doesn't stand still. He advances toward the elder while using his sword mid-path to redirect the attack to hit another elder charging at him. When he finally arrives in front of the old man, he uses his sword to dismember the old man in one continuous cut, leaving him with only a torso that Chen Wei kicks while still in the air, causing the old man's torso to collide with another elder before dissolving into a force of poisonous blood. Ah! The elder, now covered in poisonous blood after colliding with the attack, screams in pain as he advances uncontrollably. But instead of attacking Chen Wei, he unleashes a killer move against the elder responsible for healing, killing him instantly as he is caught off guard by his ally's attack. Mortal killer move, Blood Madness. Without wasting time, Chen Wei continues his advance, cutting and mutilating the elders of the Feng Ji clan as he goes, making all those observing the scene from the outside feel shocked to their core. This shock might even turn into admiration if it weren't their clan being destroyed, for in every move of Chen Wei, be it attack, defense, or evasion, is depicted as a work of art that would be told in legends. In fact, even the most skilled war veterans witnessing Chen Wei's ferocity and skill in battle could not help but feel like mere recruits who understand nothing about combat, watching a demonstration from a senior master. It gets to the point where these rank 3 elders and the rank 4 clan leader appear extremely incompetent for letting Chen Wei stroll through them, cutting them down recklessly as if they were mere children. Of course, it's not as if many people are watching the battle, as they are now more concerned with escaping the combat zone, which by now has destroyed numerous buildings and houses in the Feng Ji clan, given that each attack from a powerful rank 3 GU master can destroy numerous structures. So this is the capability of a quasi-grand master. Chen Wei says with a deep sigh as he looks at the heap of dismembered corpses around him, painting the entire landscape a beautiful scarlet red. Please don't kill me. I beg you. I can give you anything you want and be your slave, just let me live. The other, once proud and imposing leader of the Feng Ji clan, now finds himself face down on the ground with his body completely mutilated, while he is stepped on by Chen Wei, who intentionally kept him alive until now. Unfortunately for you, your blood is worth more to me as food for my blood creatures than your life. Chen Wei speaks as he withdraws the rank 4 blood creature tide and lets it fall into a large wound on the back of the clan leader. No, please, you want my GU, here take it all, arg. Even in his final moments of life, the leader of the Feng Ji clan pleads for his life and tries to resist death, but it's a futile struggle, especially when a rank 1 blood creature emerges from his body and begins to drink his blood. Ah, well, 1 down, 2 more to go. Chen Wei mutters as he watches the blood creature drink the blood of the elders while rapidly increasing their numbers. Well, you can go. Chen Wei speaks as he controls the now hundreds of blood creatures he commands to advance against the martial arts masters of the Feng Ji clan, who are desperately trying to evacuate the clan, thus starting a bloodbath. What do you mean the reconnaissance units were destroyed? Bang the He and clan leader's voice is filled with fury as he slams his hand on the table with all his might. Honored clan leader, forgive this insolent servant, but I am just the mess. Before the poor rank 2 GU master could finish his words, he is punched and sent flying across the room. I'm surrounded by incompetence. And it's never anyone's fault, apparently. The clan leader yells, glaring at the rank 2 GU master crawling on the floor with a fearful expression. Could you explain to me how taking out your anger on this poor GU master will solve our problems? Wang Su, the elder of the Justice Hall and also the clan leader's uncle, speaks calmly, unafraid of offending the clan leader. An absolute silence follows, as the other elders in the meeting room do their best not to make a sound, fearing the clan leader's wrath. Don't act like our familial relationship gives you the right to do as you please. Wang Shi, the clan leader, speaks in a low voice that carries a tone of threat towards Wang Su. You both should be more concerned about the danger at our doorstep than your egos, as if to heighten the tension, a low voice emerges. However, unlike what someone unfamiliar with the clan's situation might expect, this voice doesn't increase the tension but calms the atmosphere. This voice belongs to Wang Lu, the old clan leader, who is sitting in an armchair and speaks with difficulty due to his deteriorating health, which has been worsening over the years. In fact, the only reason he is able to act now in this meeting is because of the rank 3 elders' last triumph GU. So, Chen Wang, did you manage to contact the one who allegedly is your grandson? Despite his weak health and hoarse voice, Wang Lu carries great authority felt by everyone in the meeting room. At this moment, the gaze of all the elders, both old and new, as they were all summoned for this meeting, turns to Chen Wang. Chen Wang, unlike his former imposing, magnanimous, and unassailable image, now looks disheveled and exhausted, more like a beggar than an honored clan elder. Sir, old clan leader, no matter the methods I used, I received no response, just as the investigation teams I sent met the same fate as the others. Chen Wang speaks not only with melancholy but also with a defeated expression, a sentiment shared by all the elders in this meeting. However, some are simply channeling these emotions into anger. For Chen Wang in particular, this problem started much earlier, or more precisely, just over 2 months ago when, during the Battle of the Blood Lake, his talented grandson Chen Wei disappeared into thin air in front of everyone, along with an elder from the Feng Ji clan. At first, Chen Wang thought it was some trick by the Feng Ji clan, so he tried to fight them to rescue his grandson, but this failed as the immortal inheritance began using its aura to force everyone to return to their clans and stop the fight. After being forced to return to the clan because of the immortal inheritance, he discovered that Wang Mei had also suddenly disappeared, which was another headache for him, as she is the clan leader's daughter and was under his care. Thus, he has been under constant pressure not only from the clan leader's faction but also from his rivals for the past 2 months. But all this doesn't compare to the shock after the information came from both spies and GU masters fleeing for refuge. This information was that Chen Wei, his grandson, had reappeared and in this time had destroyed the Feng Ji clan. At first, even he didn't believe this news, much less the other elders. But after the same happened with the Xianxia clan a few days later, and now a tide of blood creatures was heading their way, everyone was forced to accept this truth. Well, despite my affection and appreciation for my son-in-law, I must assume that he harbors ill. Wang Si speaks with a tone of melancholy mixed with anger, as he hoped that with Chen Wei's appearance, he could find the whereabouts of his daughter, intentions, coming against us with his army of blood beasts he used to destroy 2 clans so far. Sir, at this point, I say it's safe to assume the one controlling that body isn't Chen Wei, but rather the immortal who left the inheritance. Shuyang, one of Chen Wang's rivals, speaks without any political maneuvering, just stating what most elders think. The reason is obvious: despite Chen Wei being one of the most talented youths in the clan's history, it's impossible for a mere rank 3 initial stage like he was to defeat multiple rank 3 elders and a rank 4 clan leader, as they have heard. I think that's reasonable at this point. Wang Shi speaks with disgust, considering the sadistic motives this immortal might have had for kidnapping his daughter as well. Well, if I may speak on the few pieces of information we've managed to gather, Bai Ni, the new elder of the Internal Affairs Hall after Taiji was tried and executed for treason, speaks. Go ahead. Wang Lu, the old clan leader, says. Well, by the easiest to know about, the speed of this blood beast tide suggests they'll reach the clan today. Bai Ni starts his report. Well, according to rough estimates, the tide of blood creatures numbers around 50,000 and is only increasing. Bai Ni begins explaining everything methodically, like a teacher giving a presentation. Additionally, according to information from scouts who managed to return to the clan, as well as refugees from other clans, most of the blood creatures are at rank 1 in strength. Bai Ni's words are met with nods of agreement from the elders. Well, but among these, approximately 4,000 compare to rank 2 GU masters. These words make all the clan elders nervous, as these numbers exceed many medium-sized clans. Moreover, these creatures follow commands perfectly and fearlessly, which is even more terrifying. And even more, the number of rank 3 creatures is around 70. And if what some refugees say is true, he has 2 creatures with rank 4 battle strength. As if the previous news hadn't shocked everyone enough, Bai Ni speaks with extreme melancholy. Impossible. Even for an immortal. Wang Shi shouts in shock and fury, as the Heian clan is not unfamiliar with the blood creature GU, and even knowing that must be a rank 4 version of the GU, it shouldn't be capable of this. He is certain of this, as they used the blood creature in the war in the past, but even then, they didn't fully understand its capabilities or its recipe. But after the appearance of this blood creature tide, the elders united to pressure Chen Wang into revealing the various blood path GU recipes created by his grandson, including this one, as they saw an opportunity amidst the disaster to deal with a major strength of a rival. You underestimate what an immortal could do, especially with that young man's mind. Si Mang, Tradition Hall elder and also the oldest of the elders, speaks with a tone of reproach at the idea of a junior in his voice. You want me to believe that it's possible for 2 rank 4 creatures to appear so easily? Wang Shi speaks, leaving even Si Mang without words, as he has no way to justify this fact. It's best we prepare for the worst, and if that's the case, the Heian clan, like the Xiangmao and Fengji clans, will fall. This phrase could be considered an act of treason and taken to a court-martial in most cases, but as it comes from the mouth of the honored old clan leader Wang Lu, everyone listens as if it were an imperial decree. Of course, this is only the worst-case scenario, and even then, my men of the Heian clan refuse to fall without a fight, right? Wang Lu says as if to boost the morale of the elders who have been in the depths of despair for a long time. Yes, honored old clan leader. Of course, how could our mighty clan go down without a fight? I swear to make this immortal regret attacking our Heian clan. I swear if this immortal appears at the clan's gates, I will personally kill him. At that very moment, as if the last words had jinxed them, a loud noise is heard coming from one of the clan's walls, followed by a strong shockwave that could knock a weaker person to the ground. Sir, the beat tide has arrived and breached the clan wall. Less than a moment after the explosion, a rank 2 GU master runs into the meeting room with a desperate expression. Damn it, that's hours earlier than we expected. Wang Shi says while activating various information path GU to give orders to the frontline troops. Sir, I have received reports from the front lines, it's the worst-case scenario. Chen Wang, despite being suppressed recently by other elders, is still the strategy hall elder, so he is naturally the first to receive the front line's recognition. Absolute silence falls over the meeting room, as the last thread of hope the elders were clinging to, even if it was just a futile attempt to stay positive, is broken. Ah, you go to the front lines. I and your subordinates will give orders to the troops from the rear. Wang Lu speaks with a stern look, not accepting the slightest dissent. Yes, old clan leader. Understood, old clan leader. Of course, old clan leader. All the elders agree immediately, as their respect for the old clan leader is immense. Besides, it's not like they suspect the old clan leader is trying to avoid the front lines, as if he were able to fight, he would be advancing into battle. But his condition is barely stable, in this state where he can hardly sit in an armchair, so he would be of no help on the front lines and would probably have the opposite effect, as the clan elders would have to guard him. Let's go. Without worrying about formalities, the clan leader, followed by the elders, quickly exits through the meeting room window and runs across the rooftops, heading at high speed to the walls. Quick, healing GU masters here. Damn it, these blood beasts don't die. Where the hell are the reinforcements? No, I don't want to die here, why is it like this? Quickly, as the elders approach the clan wall that has been the front line, they hear loud crying and shouting from the clan members. But this is nothing compared to the fearsome sight of the blood creatures advancing slowly but steadily, an unstoppable force that kills everything in its path while their numbers only increase. Little Wei, Chen Wang, who, along with the other elders, stops at a tower near the walls, mutters with a complex expression as he looks into the distance, seeing Chen Wei standing on the horizon with two blood creatures that transmit a rank 4 aura by his side. Men, it was an honor to fight by your side, the clan leader speaks with great melancholy, knowing that his death and that of everyone else is approaching as he looks at Chen Wei advancing along with the two blood creatures beside him. Let's give this damn immortal hell. Let's give this damn immortal hell. Wang Shi, the leader of the clan, spoke with a furious voice that resonated with battle intent, greatly inspiring the elders beside him. Without wasting any time, he extended his hand and pointed at Chen Wei, who was advancing. Mortal killer move, Water of Celestial Judgment. The clan leader didn't waste time and quickly used one of his killer moves, equivalent to rank 3 strength, which took the form of a powerful jet of water advancing to test Chen Wei's defensive capability. Look, it's the clan leader's attack. The elders are with him too. Heavens, we are saved. Quickly seeing the clan leader's killer move advancing magnificently through the skies above the front line, ignoring all enemies in its path, directly towards Chen Wei. Child's play, Chen Wei said as he saw the attack approaching him at high speed, but he had no intention of dodging it, an attack that would make the heart of any normal GU master tremble with fear. As expected, it didn't take long for the attack not only to reach Chen Wei but to collide with him. However, to everyone's surprise, instead of resisting with his defense, his body was quickly destroyed, turning into nothing more than blood. What? How can it be? Wang Shi said with a shocked expression, unable to believe that the immortal could die with just one killer move from him. But even before the GU masters on the ground could start praising the clan leader's strength for killing the immortal in one attack, the water from the killer move, which had created a path from Wang Shi to Chen Wei, turned into pure scarlet red in an instant. Damn it! The clan leader shouted, trying to get rid of the water that had now turned into blood. His heart went into deep shock as he realized he had lost all control over the killer move. Be careful, clan leader. But he was quickly pulled out of his shock by Sha Li, one of the most loyal elders, who advanced in front of him while shouting. In less than a moment, the clan leader understood the reason for the desperation of the muscular strength path elder when he saw two swords protruding from the elder's back right in front of him. Mortal killer move, Myriad Tiger's Strength. Arg! Sha Li roared in anger as his muscles expanded to an incredible size, and various tiger beast phantoms roared furiously while he relentlessly tried to strike the young man who had stabbed him. But to everyone's surprise, Sha Li, renowned for his combat ability, didn't land a single blow on Chen Wei, and soon after, he collapsed, dead on the ground in a pool of his own blood. It's been a while since we last met, hasn't it, father-in-law? And the same goes for you, grandfather, Chen Wei said in a calm voice, ignoring the dead elder on the ground and focusing on the shocked elders. He didn't blame the elders for being extremely shocked by what had just happened, as his past self would have reacted the same way if someone had suddenly invaded the clan and killed one of the strongest elders as if it were nothing. But for him now, it was very simple. When the water path killer move from the clan leader approached, he quickly used the rank 3 become blood GU to turn completely into blood, making him invulnerable to physical attacks but also losing the ability to attack. Thus, he was hit by the clan leader's killer move, and although he spread out in the form of blood, he didn't suffer any injuries. He then immediately used rank 3 blood corruption, turning the water from Wang Zai's killer move into blood. But it wasn't just turning into blood, this GU also corrupted the blood, making anything hit by it completely lose control from the GU master who originally controlled it after turning into blood. To crown it all, Chen Wei, in his blood form, mingled with the blood that was once water and used rank 3 blood circulation GU to move quickly within the blood, appearing in front of the clan leader in an instant while taking his original form again after stopping using the Become Blood GU. Of course, due to Sha Li's fearless advance, he couldn't kill the clan leader, but Chen Wei didn't leave empty-handed. After stabbing the cardiac artery and combining it with the rank 4 deadly bleeding GU, he quickly killed one of the clan's strongest combat elders. "You damned traitor, I will make you pay for your sins." Xu Yang, the greatest rival of his grandfather and someone who harbored great enmity against him, declared authoritatively. Mortal killer move, ancient furious storm. In just an instant, the clear and sunny sky was taken over by black water clouds as a furious storm began, with raindrops falling at speeds too fast for a simple mortal to follow and with the force capable of easily killing a rank 1 GU master. The most terrifying aspect was that thousands of these raindrops fell simultaneously. "Good luck with that," Chen Wei said as he created a blood spear and launched it at Xu Yang. Right after throwing the spear, he took the form of blood using the Become Blood GU. "Don't even think about running, you bastard," Xu Yang shouted in rage as he dodged the blood spear, but at the same moment, he was shocked when Chen Wei emerged from the blood spear, holding the blood spear in his hand. "And why would I run?" Chen Wei wasted no time and, with a fluid and precise surgical move, struck Xu Yang's spinal column while using rank 3 draw blood GU, causing all of Xu Yang's blood to be absorbed by the blood spear. Mortal killer move, Desolate Sea Hydra. Chen Wei, who had just killed Xu Yang, didn't have a moment to rest when a 3-headed water hydra began attacking him furiously. "Quickly, use this opportunity to prepare your killer moves," Wang Su said with a determined look on his face, confident that his killer move would hold Chen Wei off for a long time. This is because the killer move, which is the greatest creation of his life, replicates the ability of a water hydra that only dies when all its heads are cut off, but each individually cut head regenerates into 2 after some time. "Excellent work," Wang Shi said as he prepared his own powerful killer move, which took a long time to activate. He saw several other elders doing the same. "Chen Wei, who would have thought it's really you? I will bring you to justice for your crimes against the clan." Wang Su was interrupted in mid-sentence when he felt a hand pierce his chest as he was attacked from behind. "It's about time they arrived," Chen Wei murmured as he saw the water hydra collapsing after Wang Su was killed by a surprise attack from a blood creature. "Damn it, I was forgetting," Wang Shi exclaimed in shock at the appearance of the blood creature. But before he could do anything about the one that killed Wang Su, he felt another creature approaching to attack him. "Cough cough, wretched creature," Wang Shi mutters weakly while trying to escape from the blood creature's pursuit. Simultaneously, he tries to stop coughing up blood due to internal injuries sustained from having to stop a killer move midway. Mortal killer move, Octopus of Heavenly Depths. Mortal killer move, Torment Iron Chains. Of course, others weren't interrupted in their killer moves, which results in Chen Wei witnessing Mo Chang, the Academy Hall Elder, transforming into a gigantic purple octopus that attacks Chen Wei with its tentacles. At the same time, Li Gang, the Commerce Hall Elder, controls thick metal chains that make their way towards Chen Wei, aiming to restrain him so others can attack indiscriminately. Transformation Path. Unfortunately, it has a great weakness against blood. Chen Wei murmurs as the octopus tentacles quickly reach him and start squeezing his body, which soon explodes in blood. But this is not good news for Mo Chang, as Chen Wei easily enters his bloodstream using Become Blood GU and Blood Circulation GU. "Don't be fooled, he must have done the same trick as before, arg." Mo Chang, who was warning about Chen Wei's tricks, starts screaming in pain. "Do you need healing?" Li Ming, the Healing Hall Elder, says while already starting to heal Mo Chang. But before he could say more, the octopus does something that shocks him immensely. With all its strength and might, the octopus uses its tentacles to crush the old Li Ming, who, despite having some defenses as a healer of the water path, had no chance to resist Mo Chang's strength, being killed in an instant. "Mo Chang, what the hell was that?" Li Guan shouts loudly while also dodging the tentacles coming at him as Mo Chang is controlled by the rank 3 blood puppet GU. But suddenly, Mo Chang's tentacles stop pursuing Li Guan before the giant octopus falls face first to the ground while the temperature around its body starts increasing enormously. Shit, this must be Chen Wei's doing. As Li Guan speaks, the giant octopus explodes into a pool of boiling blood that submerges Li Guan. Arg, arg. Chen Wei, emerging from a pool of boiling blood, looks at Li Guan writhing on the ground from his burns. Mortal killer move, heaven-piercing blood. Chen Wei, in an attack, puts the elder out of his misery before doing the same to two more elders who find themselves in precarious situations, being attacked simultaneously by various rank 3 blood creatures. These elders are Zhang Ning, the Diplomacy Hall elder, and Peng Du, the Training Hall elder. Even without using much killer moves, the result wasn't much different from before. Chen Wei looks at the bodies of more elders killed by the rank 4 blood creatures before turning his gaze to the clan leader, desperately fighting against 2 rank 4 blood creatures and several rank 3 ones. Mortal killer move, bloody sword killer cut. Chen Wei uses the rank 4 version of the first killer move he developed, which by now is much better than it was in the past, to decapitate the clan leader who was barely holding on while resisting the attack of the various blood creatures. The leader had no chance of defending himself. Are you planning to continue doing nothing? Chen Wei says while looking at Chen Wang, whose body is covered in deep wounds like the other elders. Are you the Chen Wei I know? Chen Wang asks with a distressed expression on his face, struggling to stay on his feet due to the injuries caused by the blood creatures that have now stopped attacking him. I am. Chen Wei replies, walking slowly towards Chen Wang. Then what are you doing? Have you gone mad? Why did you do this? Chen Wang shouts with absolute rage, a level of anger he had never shown before in his life. To refine an immortal Gu. Chen Wei says in a calm and low voice, almost whispering, with an empty expression on his face. For a damn Gu. You betrayed your family and massacred your clan for a mere Gu. Chen Wang screams, his rage reaching its peak as he launches various attacks at Chen Wei, who easily deflects or defends against them. What sin did I commit against the heavens to deserve a descendant like this? If only I had known, I would have taken your life right after your birth, you ungrateful try. But Chen Wang never finishes his words as Chen Wei, moving much faster than Chen Wang can follow, advances and cuts him in half with a short, smooth, but extremely powerful and lethal strike. Unfortunately for you, you didn't know. Chen Wei says right after killing his grandfather, his expression empty, showing nothing more. He then continues to walk calmly towards a specific place among the debris, followed by various rank 3 blood creatures, 2 of which are carrying the bodies of Chen Wang and Wang Shi. Father. Chen Wei murmurs while looking at the dead body of the person he came to find among the debris. Using his rank 4 blood demon eyes Gu, he can easily see the blood of those closely related to him. Ah, let's go. Chen Wei continues his path, now heading to his family mansion while a third blood creature carries his father's body. As Chen Wei walks, he hears the sounds of screams and fights as the massacre spreads throughout the clan, with the tide of blood creatures attacking non-stop. Any Gu master who sees him on the street doesn't even bother to do anything, as they are all trying to save their own lives. Probably this is the reason why this part was added to the refinement. Chen Wei says while looking at the blood-soaked streets leading to his family mansion. Some of the dead he vaguely recognizes, but most can't be fully seen to be identified. He almost never sees anyone alive since, after the deaths of the elders and the clan leader and the breaking of the front lines, everyone is just trying to hide while running for their lives. And what Chen Wei refers to as the reason for all this is a Gu that has been automatically refining itself in his chest since he attacked the Fengji clan, but which he only noticed now during the attack on the Heian clan, especially after he killed Chen Wang. Home sweet home, Chen Wei says as he sees his family mansion, which he promptly enters. Stop right there. Wait, young Master Chen, is this Yo? The guards at the gate don't even have time to recognize Chen Wei's identity before they find themselves dead, lying in a pool of their own blood. Chen Wei calmly walks through the corridors of the mansion, heading towards an ordinary wall. Without hesitation, he swiftly cuts the wall in half, opening a passage to a secret room. Please, you can take all the Gu, just don't harm us. My little Wei. Si Ling, who was screaming in desperation, thinking that some raider had found the hidden room in the Chen family mansion, now screams in joy. Big brother, I was so scared. Chen Hua, who was hiding in a corner of the room, runs to Chen Wei and hugs him happily. For heaven's sake, where have you been and where are father and grandfather? Don't tell me, but she never finishes her words, as the next moment her world turns completely black, her life ending abruptly. I'm sorry. Chen Wei murmurs, looking at the bodies of the two on the floor, ensuring he gave them the most painless death possible. As Chen Wei tries to calm his emotions, he feels a new rank 1 GU having finished forming in his aperture, taking the shape of a beautiful and exuberant butterfly. This is the loyalty GU. This might seem like a joke of fate after the acts he committed, but Chen Wei fully understands why this is the loyalty GU, being the reason he chose to betray others, becoming loyal only to himself, so if given to others it would become the betrayal GU. As I expected, this is the reason for this part of the refinement. Chen Wei says while seeing the loyalty GU shining with a blinding white light as it merges with his immortal GU, which was only one step away from being complete. Arg. Chen Wei is forced to kneel on the ground, clenching his teeth to endure the pain that arises again, though this time it's much less intense than before, yet still not something for the faint-hearted. It's done, the refinement is complete, Chen Wei says, almost whispering, as his eyes now see a completely new world. To the world. Blood sacrifice GU. In death, we all become equal, murmured Chen Wei softly as he looked at the lifeless body of the girl who was once one of the beauties of the Heian clan. Not only that, she was also the daughter of one of the most influential rank 2 GU masters of the clan, a leader of an elite team, which eventually led her to marry the heir of one of the clan elders. But now, her body lay on the ground in a pool of her own blood, just like many others, indistinguishable from the body of a mortal servant despised by all or a mangy dog that lived in the streets starving. I would say it's a beautiful poetic lesson, Chen Wei, who only glanced distractedly at the dead girl on the ground, continued on his way. Of course, this was something he had pondered for a long time after reading the novel and experiencing war firsthand, but this was the first time he saw such a large-scale massacre, realizing how pathetic the notions of beauty or honor were. Did their lives have any meaning? All their actions and choices, some chose to be sinners, others decided to be good people. But now that they are all dead, who can tell who was what? Chen Wei himself couldn't distinguish between the bodies, their beliefs, emotions, and life experiences. For them, these few years were everything, but for the River of Time, it was such a short moment that it is impossible to know if it really happened, and now this short moment they called life is over due to forces beyond their control. Chen Wei spoke as he looked at the body of an old woman who died trying to protect her grandson, a child under 10 who also perished in the end. Between these two bodies, one would expect the old woman and the child to have had a completely different understanding of life, but now, in Chen Wei's eyes, they were equivalent, not only in the significance of their lives but in every aspect of their beings, as they were equally dead. These thoughts made Chen Wei, who was walking through blood-soaked streets full of bodies, feel increasingly empty as he pondered his own existence in the GU world and the purpose of his life up to this point. For after his death, what would all of this matter? No. In truth, death is the only thing that gives life, not only to me and these people but to everyone in the world, any meaning. Chen Wei reached this conclusion, which was his understanding after his recent actions and his entire life up until now. This understanding of Chen Wei can be further justified when looking at the life goals of Limitless Demon Venerable and Heaven Refining Demon Venerable, whose existences were focused on fighting against the decree of fate called death. Death, a decree of fate, this doesn't sound right. Chen Wei didn't understand why, but this thought seemed inappropriate when he pondered it. Now, kill that demon. Quick, save the clan leader's body. Mother, I will avenge you. Interrupting Chen Wei's thoughts, a group of GU masters advanced against him with desperate expressions, like men on the brink of death facing the Grim Reaper. It seems you chose to waste the opportunity for salvation I offered you. Chen Wei, of course, had already noticed these GU masters hiding among the rubble or ruined houses and knew of their intentions to attack him for his actions but had done nothing about it until now. The reason he did this was to give all the GU masters or mortals he encountered a choice. To surrender their hearts to anger or revenge and try to kill Chen Wei, or to surrender their hearts to fear and self-preservation and choose to flee or do nothing against him. Of course, Chen Wei was not doing this out of altruism or good intentions and kindness. His primary objective was to deepen his understanding of the human heart, divided by feelings of vengeance and fear of his own death, as a basis for his future development in the human path. Arg. Die. One of the GU masters used almost all his primeval energy, using the water disc GU to launch dozens of flat, lethal discs at Chen Wei, which would be deadly to anyone caught off guard. Chen Wei, seeing this, didn't even bother to dodge, deflecting the water discs with the blood sword in his hand before easily killing those who attacked him using blood arrows that killed the GU masters as if they were flies. For these GU masters, who had overcome their fears and internal conflicts to try and seek revenge for their loved ones and the destruction of their clan, dying so inconsequentially without even making Chen Wei flinch would be the greatest pain if they could feel anything after death. I admire your determination to die for revenge. Few have it, Chen Wei said with a simple smile on his face as he spoke to the bodies of the dead GU masters, especially one who was trying to sneak towards a blood creature carrying the clan leader's body. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ah. Chen Wei, realizing the simple smile on his face, began to laugh louder and louder as if he were a man who had lost his sanity. Now I understand, eternal life is nothing more than a rejection of the Tao, since death is the eternal Tao. Chen Wei said these words while a feeling of enlightenment surged in his chest. Death is the first instant and the final judge, from which no one can escape and all are governed by. How can death be determined by fate GU when it too is subject to this end? Chen Wei spoke with his eyes shining with a sinister light, as if he was finally understanding something he had always questioned. Even the GU world is subject to death, as seen by the constant pressure of chaos threatening the existence of this world. Chen Wei began to walk quickly towards the clan gate, where he saw a GU master trembling with fear, trying to hide. Please, sir, don't kill me. I'll give you everything you want, my GU, my body, just please look. The woman could never finish her words as her head was crushed by a blood claw created by Chen Wei. Ah, as I expected, incredible. Chen Wei said with a smile on his face as an indescribable sensation coursed through his veins like blood, nourishing every fiber of his being at that moment. Of course, this was not because he took pleasure in the girl's death. He was not a sadist who loved the sensation of killing like spectral soul. In fact, with each act of killing, he felt even more indifferent, making it as natural to him as breathing. In reality, this sensation was not new to Chen Wei, as it was the feeling he had when increasing his comprehension and exploring the depths of the Great Tao. However, even those moments in the past seemed shallow compared to now. Heaven's will, suppressing spectral soul's killing path now makes even more sense. Chen Wei now understood not only why the killing path was suppressed but also why Heaven's will bet everything on sending Fang Yuan back 500 years to prevent spectral soul's plan from succeeding. Since in this world, the killing path, which was the great obsession that spectral soul dreamed of making a reality, seems to have been the one that most deeply touched the true essence of the Great Tao. This causes Chen Wei's already great admiration for him to reach unprecedented levels. Now that he thought about it, he realized that every smallest detail of the Great Tao seemed to lead to one thing: death, without exception, as if it were its essence or its final and most absolute meaning. Even eternal life, in a strange and distorted way, could be seen in death, in Chen Wei's eyes now. Or is it not the human being, the wisest and most capable of refining and comprehending the Great Tao, who is always closest to death, whether due to his fragile body that can be easily destroyed or his lifespan that, compared to other species in this world, is as short as a blink of an eye? Although he did not feel his attainment increasing at this moment, Chen Wei was still overwhelmed by an incredible sensation that quickly made every fiber of his being crave more. A mad seeker of the Tao, a crazed killer thirsty for blood, Chen Wei murmured faintly as his eyes shone with a scarlet glow, making him see every living being in the Heian clan, from the highest GU master to the lowest insect. Long ago, I decided to live my life for the study of the Tao, and recently, I chose to pursue this search for the Tao always according to my own will, Chen Wei said, looking up, his gaze fixed on the beautiful and desolate moon that seemed to illuminate the world with its majestic white veil. This sight made Chen Wei feel a stirring in his heart as he remembered a statement declared by Fang Yuan to express his emotions regarding the human life. Humans only live for 100 years, it is as unreal as a dream that ends in an instant. What is the point of a person living in this world? No more than just being on a journey, and witnessing interesting things. Although I do not want to die, I do not fear death. I am already on my right path, I have no regrets even if I die. And now that Chen Wei thought about it, despite having his own desires to comprehend the Tao, he never had a great conviction like Feng Yuan or other venerables like Limitless, who, even after thousands of years and countless failures, never wavered for a moment. I want to kill. I want to understand the great Tao. Chen Wei said these words as if they were something he had kept in his heart for a long time, like a person who had been bound finally being set free. In fact, these words coming out of his mouth surprised even him, but now, with his new understanding of the Tao, it seemed to be not two desires but one that complemented each other, being the most logical and sane desire he could have. Since the act of cultivating to understand the Tao involves using Gu, which are fragments of the great Tao as he desired, then if he touches the essence of the great Tao, which is death, killing indiscriminately while he follows his journey in Gu cultivation, wouldn't that make his understanding even deeper? To understand the Tao, I will kill one person, a group of people, the human population of this world, maybe all living beings that inhabit the world, Chen Wei said, looking at the sky, his heart calm but also burning with the intention to kill. This intention did not come from a desire for cruelty or a love for slaughter and causing suffering but from the most innocent human curiosity he discovered fills his heart, driving him to an insatiable desire to understand the Tao. For the Tao, I will kill heavens, and even myself if so I need so be it. Chen Wei declared without the slightest fear of death or resentment against heaven's will, for the only thing that filled his heart was his goal of fully understanding the Tao. Ah! Chen Wei closed his eyes as he enjoyed the gentle light of the moon falling on his skin. When he opened his eyes, instead of continuing his journey out of the clan and toward the lake of blood as he had planned, he turned back towards the interior of the Heian clan, which still housed a small number of Gu masters trying to hide themselves who managed to survive since Chen Wei was not concerned with killing them all before but now. I still have many more to kill. For more thrilling fanfiction stories like this, check out my channel Fanfic Audiobook. Dive into epic adventures, mysterious realms, and legendary journeys brought to life through immersive storytelling. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing audiobooks.